So working on burns today, basically all you need to do these simple burns would be liquid latex, which you can get Walmart, $10, online during off season, pair of tweezers, and your basic just paint. And for time's sake, I did go ahead. I've added a few layers of liquid latex to my hand. You can tell it's dry because, as you can see, my hand's all nice and shiny. So basically what I'm going to start doing is I am just going to find a place and start picking at the latex to make a hole in it. Just rip a little bit off, and then I'm going to pull that back and just touch it to the intact latex. And since I haven't set this latex, it is still really sticky, so it's going to stick to itself nicely. You want to be careful, make sure you're not gouging your actual skin when you're doing this. You want to be able to see your actual skin underneath that latex. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do this a few times. Let me get my hand back up on camera there. Just start with a little hole and just pull it back. And then you'll feel it start to pull your skin a little bit, but it gives it that more realistic effect. Anytime you start working on a new wound or whatever skill you're trying to work on, you want to make sure that you are just get on Google and find some pictures, get some inspiration. So I'm just going to get a few holes going, get one up here. If you're in a bind for time and you don't have time to wait for the latex to dry, one thing you can do to help it, hair dryer. Just keep it on a low setting because you don't want to be burning your skin. So you can see my hands kind of holy, kind of looking gross. That is definitely the goal of what we're doing here. So get a little close up. It's kind of hard to see with the glare of the camera, but you can see where it's not shiny. That would be my skin. I'm trying to get one on my finger. And I know a lot of people look for perfection whenever they start trying to work with latex. Lighting is going to help you so much. And just remember, I mean, if you don't like it, you can always go back and play with it some more. Push it back. So I'm pretty happy with that. Got my hole. So now that the basis for my build is set, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start coloring it in. To set my powder, I'm going to go ahead and just use my normal powder foundation. So let me get my brush out. So, usual powder, I'm just gonna brush it. Brush it. And all this is gonna do is it's gonna help my latex kind of settle down, not become as tacky. It's also going to take away some of the shininess. Not all of it, just some of it. Okay, so now that my latex is covered, it's even harder to see that in the camera. A few more spots, let me just touch it. I know I can touch it and it's not coming up with my hand, it's not really going to stick to itself anymore. So you want to make sure whenever you set your latex, it is how you want it to be. Then my next step is going to be, I just had it. There it is. I am a fan of just using your typical Halloween makeup crayons. Grease makeup also works really well. But I'm just going to take my red makeup crayon, and I'm going to go in to where it's my skin and not the latex. I'm going to start off by painting all that red. So, making sure I get into all my crevices. And I want to make sure I've got a good paint job on it. And let me get this last one in here. And then, as you can see, it kind of looks like raw flesh underneath a burn. Gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take a little bit of white into the middle. And whenever it comes to painting, a lot of work I've done, it's become trial and error. A lot of people jump in, and I've noticed they kind of get frustrated whenever coming to painting. Your lighting, I cannot stress enough. Your lighting is going to be your best friend if you're in dark lighting. So, I've kind of lightened it up a little bit. You can still see the primary red, though. And that's what you want. You want that primary color in there. So now, I'm going to take a little bit of just red grease paint. And I'm kind of start to blend it around all the burns. And I'm doing this kind of sparse, kind of sparingly, because this is going to be blended. I definitely, okay. So now that I've got that red, which is even a darker red than what I ended up putting into the burn itself, I'm going to go back, give my actual burns a little bit more attention, and I'm going to take a darker red, which I kind of just blend my black with it. Little bit of black is going to go a long way with this, though. And I'm going to go and kind of just brush the edges. Because whenever it comes to special effects makeup, a little bit is going to go a long way. And we hear in almost everything, you know, practice really does make perfect. I'm by no means one of the best. I still only dabble. And it's taken me about 3 years to get to this point. So definitely don't give up. I still run to the person who first got me started in the special effects makeup for help almost every year. So I'm sure he's probably sick of me by now. I'm gonna go dab a little bit. And then get the black off. So I'm gonna go right back into doing my dark red. I'm going to take that over my black. I'm kind of going to blend that. So as you can see, it's kind of really dark in those wounds, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to lighten that up a little bit. Just going to take my little latex sponge and just dab a little bit off. I'm not going to wipe it off completely, I'm just going to dab. Help blend them together. So, you can see a lot of the black has come off. It's mainly blended together. The sponge took off that excess. you don't really want to see black as that primary color. You just want to use it as a highlight. So one of the next things I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add some purples out on the edges of that pink. Kind of try and give it that painful, bruised effect. Now if you're going for like a charred look, this is also where you could add a little bit of black into the makeup. But once again, just remember, black is a very powerful color, so a little bit is just, it's going to take you so far. You don't want to paint your entire hand black, you just want to dab a little bit here and there. Because then once again, you are going to blend it. So I'm going to take a clean spot, and I'm kind of just going to dab that black around, darken that hand up. So, once again, like I said, just highlight. And one thing I always do is I'll take my bloody scab and inside each of the burns, I'm just going to give it a little dab. Because not only does this help with that coloring, it also gives it a little bit of texture inside the burn. Because I know out of all the times I've ever burnt myself, it has never been too smooth. So we kind of want to give it that painful look. Just dab it up with some texture. And I'm going to kind of like blend it out a little. Okay. So, the lighting in this room does help a lot. If I were to step into some better lighting, you could probably see some imperfections in this. This is for a haunt. It's gonna be dark. But just to show the difference. But let's go ahead. Let's get this light on. Thank you so much, Andrew. Deal with the camera glare for a minute. And you can definitely, there we go. See, there is a slight difference. So always keep that in mind whenever you're doing your special effects makeup. Check your lighting. And right there is how you would do a typical burn. You'd also want to keep in mind which degree burn are you going for, 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree. So once again, just do your research, and any questions, just leave them in the comments and I will be happy to get back and answer those.